Hello, we're on week 2 for Education 481. This class looks at emergent bilingual students in Oregon and working with them in our classroom. And in week 2, we're coming from week 1 where we kind of looked at why are we studying this, why is this important, what context under which are we looking at these students. And this week we're going to be looking and thinking critically about our own preconceptions of emergent bilingual students and also at the role of the first language in language acquisition. We're also going to be introducing or looking analytically at some myths that we might have about emergent bilingual students and things that are said and equipping you to dispel those when you might run across those professionally. We're also going to be having a reading from Bailey talking about language learner autobiographies, and this is to prepare you for an assignment that you have coming up. So your assignment for this week is you have a couple of videos that you're going to be watching. The first part is you're going to be doing a writing about analyzing, synthesizing, and understanding a little bit better the myths about language learning and language learners. And that's going to come from the first chapter of Sonia Soltero's book. Once again, I can't remember if I've shown you this book before. You should have it by now. School-Wide Approaches to Educating ELLs. It might still be available to read at the preview section of Amazon if you don't have it yet, but you really need to get it. It's quite important. So the first part of your work is to do a short essay. Take a look at the 9 myths that are in Chapter 1, select 3, and give a response that would indicate how you've encountered this myth in your own teaching and learning, as well as what aspects of this myth or these 3 myths are most interesting or maybe even disturbing to you, as well as is there any truth to this myth? Do you agree or disagree? So take a look. There's more detailed instructions on the course page, the Moodle course page. The second part of the week's assignment is taking a look at internal and external factors of language acquisition. And that is going to be watching the video of Emma Lazarus High School, which is a specific kind of high school in New York for language learners. So what you'll do there is take a look and analyze how are the teachers at Emma Lazarus High School in New York. How are they addressing those internal and external factors that impact language acquisition? So you'll want to take a closer look at that assignment in terms of what's going to be required, but that's the thinking part of it and the watching part. And then part C is a sort of self-assessment where you take a look at what are your strengths? What are you good at doing when it comes to those internal external factors as well as the myths that you might be challenged. You might have a preconceived notion. And also where are you strong, meaning I know I don't have this problem or I'm really good at this. Also, where are you going to focus your effort as you seek to go to help students and you realize, that's an area that I'm just not super good at yet. So where will you focus your improvement energy, and where also are you, it's like, I'm really solid in this, but in this area I really need to probably either research more or do some more work. And then part 2 is the video of a math lesson, and that's in a high school as well. And you're going to make a 2-column journal, so like kind of a T-chart. And on one side of the T-chart is going to be the instructional strategy that you witness the teacher using. And on the other side of the T-chart is going to be making meaning in terms of why was that instructional strategy useful or why was it not useful according to your own particular perception. And then I want you to evaluate the teacher. How did she do in supporting the internal and external factors of language acquisition? Do you have recommendations? What do you think she should have done? I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that as well. And then finally is kind of a put yourself into this position. question. That's part A is watching the math, the secondary math high school class. And then part B is going to be using support from our reading or from outside reading that you located. You want to make a justification. You're the teacher of a fourth grade class that's got a number of emergent bilinguals in it. And you've got a parent coming up to you and saying, I want to opt out. What do you think? And looking for advice from you. So the writing that you're going to do is going to be, what advice do you give to that parent? And remember, the most important is that you're going to be justifying it, your advice to the parent from readings and research. So that is the final part of the work that you'll be doing this week. Once again, I just encourage you to send me any questions that you've got. I'm happy to answer them. There's a little bit of wiggle room in terms of how you do this. I think that the easiest and most direct way of doing it would be using a narrative. Remember, when you're justifying things, you're going to want to cite your resources using APA format. Looking for that, and I want to see a references section that you are providing, showing where you're getting the information that you're getting. So yeah, looking forward to seeing the things that you're turning in. If there's any difficulties or if there's any questions that you have, don't hesitate to contact me. I'm here Monday through Friday, 9 through 5. Expect a 24-hour turnaround time on those emails, and that's really the best way to get in touch with me. But if you need to meet me on campus, I can arrange that as well. Thanks, and I look forward to seeing the responses to this week's work. Bye-bye.